Hashtag No Limits. I am your host, Shelley Kino, and Hashtag No Limits is about people who society places limits upon, but who have busted through those limits. Ophelia says in Hamlet, we know who we are, but not who we will be. And I believe that to be 100% true, and that there is not a better or more beautiful example than the caterpillar turning into the butterfly. Quick, very simplified version of what happens is the caterpillar literally dissolves into its cells and then it reforms into the butterfly. But that's not enough struggling. It still has to struggle for its wings to be able to take it wherever it's going to go once it gets out of the cocoon. That's not easy. I can't imagine, at least, that it's not easy, but neither is busting through limits that society has upon other people who are different than them. So before we bring on my guests, and I'm excited about my guests today, we were having some pre-conversation, and I think this is going to be an awesome conversation. I want to make sure that as you are watching, that you are liking and subscribing to this channel if you're on YouTube, because you do not want to miss even a few seconds of any of my episodes, because all of my guests are amazing. And so you don't want to miss that. And if you're watching it live, go ahead and give us, as this person did, a comment, and I can pop it up on the screen. Tell us where you're watching from. Give us a hashtag live where you're watching from, or if you're watching it after it's live in the replay, give us a hashtag replay and where you're watching from. If you have any comments or questions for my guests, please be sure to pop them in, and I will do just like I did. I will pop them up on the screen. All right, enough about me. You didn't come on today to listen to me. You came on to learn about my guests, and I'm very excited to bring on Jules and Jessica Ortiz-Martinez. And let's just jump right in, guys. Welcome. I'm so happy to have you.
Hi. Hello.
How are you both doing today?
We're doing fine. I'm doing pretty good. A little tired, but pretty good. I stayed up all night.
Yeah? Up all night? Oh, no. Did you guys have a party and you didn't invite me?
A party you would have probably not want to come to. We had problems with our AC, and it was out all night, but then my husband fixed it this morning. So we're nice and cool now, but we were box fanned up yesterday evening.
Oh, yeah, definitely even though we're at the end of summer, we are still,
we're like hot.
How did my daughter call it? Fake fall. We had fake fall because we're still technically in summer. And right. So it's letting us know it's still here in Southern Illinois. Yes. So Jessica and Jules, tell us a little bit about yourselves and give us an introduction to who you are.
Do you want to start, or do you want me to start?
You can start. I don't know.
Okay. Well, I am a homeschool mom of 5 kids. Julianna is my oldest. She's 14, and I have an 11, 9, 8, and 6-year-old. Yeah, they just had birthdays. So I had to think about it. We're from Puerto Rico. Julianna was actually born in Puerto Rico. But we moved here, Jason's 11, so 10 years ago-ish. And so we've been on this side of the world for about 10 years. And I've been homeschooling since Julianna started kindergarten. Yep. So this is our 10th year homeschooling. And I also work part-time. I've had many side hustles throughout the years, but right now I'm working for a church. And I homeschool, and I teach Spanish at the co-op. And we're very involved in American Heritage Girls and Trail Life and drama, and Juliana's writing a novel. We're really busy. We're really, really busy. But to God the glory, we've been able to persevere, and they're all amazing, amazing kids.
That's wonderful. So she just said you and your siblings are amazing kids. Would you agree that your siblings are amazing?
It's debatable, I would say.
That's a very honest answer.
Yeah, Juliana is very honest.
I appreciate that. I just have one sibling, and he's older than I am. And yeah, he would probably give the same answer about me as to whether or not he thought I was amazing. So yeah, siblings are fun. So I just want to tell the audience that how I met Jessica and Jules back in the spring. Jules graduated from the 8th grade with the co-op, and my husband has some family that are part of that homeschool co-op. Jules got up and spoke to all of us about some of the things that she has gone through. Is this Dad saying, hey?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, Dad. Thanks for fixing the air conditioning.
Yeah.
Yeah. He also said it was very hot. So
Yeah.
It was. You mean he does not lie?
Yeah.
He did not lie
Yeah.
inside of
so she got up and she spoke and she talked about some of the limits that have been placed upon her and that she has busted through. And she did a beautiful job. And I talked to my husband's cousin afterwards. I said, you have to introduce me to her and her family because she epitomizes what hashtag No Limits is about. So, Jules, can you tell me a little bit about what school has been like for you?
Okay, so I feel like it's not been that different, I would say, from the average school. I did do pre-K at like a church school thingy. But yeah, homeschooling, I just have the basic English, math, science, history. Nothing really major that stands out. Obviously, I'm a very hands-on learner. Like, I need to hold something or have some sort of sensory going through. But yeah, I don't think it's really been that different. Obviously, I do not know how other homeschooling kids teach, so I cannot confirm that they speak for every person.
Homeschooler.
Yes.
Right,
it is
of
much
course.
different than regular school, though.
Yeah.
She has a lot more freedom. Whenever she's having a bad day, she can take a break, or and it's much more her pace. Like, for the longest, she was behind on math, and we were like, it's okay, you'll catch up. And then it was actually last month,
Yeah.
we did like we wanted to test to see whether she was good enough to do 9th grade math. And she was doing 7th grade math, but she had tutors and she was working really hard. And we did her test and she was 2 points from being honors 9th grade. And I couldn't even believe that she advanced so much in such a short period of time. I cried. I was like, Julianna.
Yeah.
I was crying. I was crying because I couldn't believe it. But it's been such a blessing to be able to homeschool because they get to invest in their interests. Julianna gets to do drama, which is a whole story how she ended up doing drama, but she gets to do...
It was a process.
It was a process because she had lots and lots of fears. But we get to tackle the things we are afraid of in a safe environment so that she can thrive. And I think there's lots of anxieties that she would have to deal with on her own in a regular public or private school setting. And being involved in how she tackles her anxieties and being with her and helping her through it has been such a blessing in my life. Just because I feel I wouldn't have wanted to miss it, number one. Number two, I wanted to be able to speak truth into her anxieties, who is the author of all things, who is in control of everything, and be able to speak truth into her spirit while she's having, anxious thoughts was really important to me. And I feel like it really has made a difference to homeschool her. And my kids know that if they tell me that something is hard, what happens, Julianna?
Probably going to force us to do it. Like, it's gone to the point where it'd be like, I can't back out now. Mother's going to make me do it anyway. So
if I hear them say I'm scared or it's hard,
she's going to turn up the heat.
That's it. Then I'm like, all right, then that means we have a new challenge. We have something to work toward. And that's how my philosophy has been. We never shy away from things because we're afraid, and we never let something stop us if we're anxious. And that's how we have powered through most of her schooling. It's hard. We do it. We are scared. We do it. And I think it really has made a huge difference. And it probably would have been a lot different had I been working full-time and had the stress of working a full-time job plus dealing with a highly anxious child. I probably would have just wouldn't have had the bandwidth to kind of know how to help her. And I think that being able to experience this together and work through these things together has definitely helped. Would you agree with that?
I think so.
It's hard for you because, as you mentioned in your introduction, you don't have
a frame of reference.
school to, Yeah, you don't have a different reference of, oh yeah, I went to public school and it was like this. So that kind of leads me to this question of what was the determining factor for you to choose homeschooling versus sending her to a public or any of your kids to a public or private school?
I will say it was not something that I would have chosen for myself. If you knew me in high school or in college, I was very ambitious and I wanted to be a doctor and I was on my way up. And whenever Juliana was in preschool, first of all, daycare was very difficult for her. She kept hurting herself at daycare, and I had to keep switching her from daycares. And then when we got to preschool, she had a really hard time because they kept breaking routines and things would change, and they had fire drills, and that would throw her off. And she had a really, really, really hard time. And I would just have had this full-time job, and I was the main provider at that time. And I would break down and cry because I didn't know how to help her. And I feel like I didn't have the bandwidth to even understand what was happening. We knew she was different, but I, at the time, didn't want to put a label on it because I just felt like it wouldn't have been helpful. I made a lot of mistakes, but eventually the Lord brought me to the conclusion that she would be better at home. So I prayed about it. My husband and I prayed about it. My husband at the time was not making hardly any money, but I was like, we need to homeschool. And he was like, okay, let's do it. We'll just trust the Lord and just do it. And
it's been like that ever since.
Yeah, but I feel like it took me 2 years to feel like, okay, I can do this. The first 2 years was really difficult. I had to get to know my daughter. When you have your kids in daycare or at school for a large portion of time, there's a lot of things and nuances about them that you don't catch. And so I feel like I had to get to know her because I only knew Juliana evenings and weekends. I didn't know Juliana 24/7. And so then I had
to. A learner is different than.
Oh yeah. Oh
you
yes.
know, I mean that's a different piece of a person.
Yes, that's true, and it's also, but your learner is your daughter because the way that they learn is the way that they see the world, and getting that piece of the puzzle. I could truly say I know my kids because I know they see things very differently, and getting to be able to teach them, I've been able to put that piece I wouldn't have had otherwise together. But it took me about 2 years to first feel like I was capable. Second, to get to know her and get to know how she learned so different than my other kids. I also didn't fully understand autism, and I thought maybe because she was verbal and I felt like she was very intelligent. I thought, well, maybe it's just, like a mild autism. But then when we had her evaluated, it wasn't. So it explained a lot of the other like sensory issues that she would have. I remember once she went into a babysitter and her wall was a brown and she melted down because it was brown, and I couldn't understand why. It took her a long time to even go in. She went into the babysitter after like 3 hours. Every time she was invited to a birthday party, it took her 2 hours to acclimate. And by the time she was, okay, I can go into the birthday party now, the party was over, and then she would melt down because she didn't get to play with anyone. And I remember thinking, Lord, this is really hard. Like, how am I going to do this? And then I started, I had other children, and my second son also had lots of other disadvantages. He didn't talk until he was 4. He wasn't walking. He was injured by a vaccine and stopped talking and walking and all those things. So I had 2 kids. I was very, very, very difficult. And I remember feeling very ill-equipped, very, very ill-equipped. But by the grace of God, he really does give you those fruits of the Spirit that you need in order to persevere. And I feel like throughout the years, I have gained a lot more patience and understanding for all of my children. I wouldn't say I'm perfect. Definitely not.
Of course. None of us are.
But it has been quite a journey. I don't regret it, but the first 2 years I did. The first years I was like, this is way too hard. But Julianna has taught me a lot in that I've learned so much. She's been more my teacher than I have been hers.
Yeah. I love that you just stated that, because I don't know how well you can see it, but I have written a book, and that book is 10 chapters long. The first chapter is my journey of going from wanting to teach only primary students in the general education room to being so passionate about special education and people with disabilities today. The other 9 chapters were based on interviews that I did with individual families who either have someone who is neurodivergent, or that individual in a couple of the chapters actually spoke to me as well. And at the end of each chapter, the families had final editing rights except for this one last chapter, because that chapter included all the things that I learned from knowing the student, knowing the families. And the book is called Those Who Can't Teach. And the concept is, as a teacher, the saying, those who can do, those who can't teach. No teacher likes that, because it makes us feel less than. But that's the same way that my families told me that they felt. That you won't have a normal life. You can't do whatever. And yet, like teachers who teach everybody, if we're open to learning from people, no matter what their credentials are, we can learn stuff. And so I love that you just said that she taught you more than you taught her, because I thought that a lot of times with several of my students, that they taught me more ways to approach life, better ways to approach tasks and situations and people and just life in general. And so I so appreciate that is your scenario as well. Jules, what has been your favorite class or classes since you've been homeschooling?
Okay, so when it comes to favorite classes, personally, I really liked history, specifically the part of history where I learn about individual people. So like war, stuff like that, I didn't care much. Now, if you told me about Napoleon or like George Washington, I'd be like, now we're getting somewhere. But yeah, besides history, I really love arts. So I made actually my co-op's yearbook. So
wow,
like those are my top two.
The cover, she designed the cover.
Yeah,
for her
I
yearbook.
look at it and feel disappointed in myself.
Why?
All I see are the errors that I made when drawing. I'm like, this is not this, that's impossible. That's physically impossible to happen. Like,
I understand, but you're really good. The thing is that she gets better, and then as she gets better, she looks at the flaws of the stuff but everyone does that. Everyone does that, but you have to feel proud that you actually, people voted and they loved your artwork, and you should be really, really proud of yourself.
I think the issue was like that. Because I had spent so much time on it, I didn't really look at the little itty bitty details, and now looking at it with fresh new eyes instead of eyes that were just like slaving away at the iPad.
I can see
I'm just
that.
like,
I can see that. That happens to me too. But you should always be proud of the work that you do, because it's one step to being better. You did amazing.
And all artists, all experts look back at their beginning things and go, oh man, I know so much more now that if I was to do it, because that's what life is. You're constantly learning. Yeah. So absolutely what your mom said, be proud of what you did. And then, just continue, the next project. Oh, okay. Well, now I know I need to pay a little bit more attention to details or, the shading or whatever it was that you now look at it and go, oh, I wish I could have done this or that. Trust me, when I look back at my first podcasts, I go, oh, mercy. Okay.
Same thing with parenting. I'm like, oh, right. I'm doing so much better now.
Okay, but like on other classes, I also like drama. I'm not doing singing. I'm not doing choir this year, but like I also enjoy choir. So when it comes to drama, I'm just like, yes.
It's so funny how she started doing drama, because she was terrified of public speaking. She would get really bad panic attacks whenever she had to present a project.
Yeah. So the process of it. I'm sorry, not me. The process of it was that I took a public speaking class before I did my first thing of choir. Now, my public speaking was interesting because I basically had to write an essay every single week and present it. And then I had choir, which is basically going up in front of people and singing along with other kids. And then when I began doing drama, I had already built up all the courage. And so I just started doing like small roles, and then I actually began auditioning, which was fun.
For bigger roles, yeah.
Yeah.
But she had panic attacks, and so whenever she started having panic attacks, I was like, all right, I'm going to put you in something where you have to talk in front of people. And she hated the idea. She hated it. She was like, why do I have to do that?
That's funny, honey. You know, it's funny. So my panic attacks turned into, like, my panic attacks of like, oh, I don't want to go up on stage, turned into, I wonder what's going to happen when I go up stage. Like, it's like that fear has turned into like, I could literally fail right now, and I'm so happy. Like,
Lord,
like it's like,
awesome.
like it's
That's
become
amazing.
more of a fight response. So like instead of like worrying about what's going to like. Instead of like, oh no, I could potentially fail. No, I revel in that feeling of like, oh, I could potentially fail.
She went from flight to fight. Whatever.
Like now that feeling of knowing everything could go wrong is like, yes.
That's adrenaline.
That's incredible because I mean, I do speaking engagements and I still, I mean, that adrenaline is kicking in. I'm going to have to look at it from that perspective of like, who cares if I fail? I might fail. Then it's just a teaching moment. And I have a story for another speaking engagement. Like, oh my gosh, you should have seen me this one time when I did this. Oh, I just totally bombed.
Yeah.
So that's a great approach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're amazing, baby girl.
Gracias, mommy.
So that is I think the part that when I heard you speak at the graduation, the co-op graduation, that I was like, that's such a huge limit right there. That you were so afraid to get up and speak in front of people. And then yet you came up and you just gave this great closing speech basically to the program. And I just found it very touching and very wonderful. And I know that the group that I was with and my husband included, we all thought, wow, that's impressive. Because public speaking is the number one fear in the world. More people are afraid of public speaking than are afraid of snakes, than are afraid of spiders, that are afraid of heights. So the fact that you have conquered that as an 8th grader or younger, actually, it sounds like, is incredible. So always be proud of that and always give praise to God for that he brought you through and that he gave you your mom and your dad to help you walk that journey, because not everybody can do that or chooses to even try.
Yep. I'm still nervous when I go in front of people and sing or do anything. It's still a nervous experience for me, and I don't handle myself as well as Julianna does. When I am afraid, when I shake and I kind of cower, but Julianna uses that energy and she just goes for it, which is completely the opposite of what one tends to do.
What typically helps me is that like my natural coping mechanism, or like when I do when I'm nervous, is always crack a joke or make fun of what I'm currently feeling. Like, oh, I'm so nervous right now, and I'll make it funny so that way other people can enjoy it.
Oh, that makes
Turn
sense.
fear into something that people can laugh at, knowing that they're not laughing at me. They're laughing at what I just made fun of. Therefore, nothing bad is happening. Yeah. Therefore, I'm going to be okay.
Yeah, and that's always true. Even if they were laughing at you, it's always going to be okay. Nothing is happening. So even if your worst fear happened, you are still the daughter of a king. You are still infinitely loved, and nothing is really happening. So even if the worst would come true, that would be true.
So true. So we have Christian Martinez is saying he's proud
That's
of
my
you.
uncle. That's my uncle.
All right. And then we have Amber Sybil.
That's my aunt. That's my
Bravery is not a lack of fear. It's doing things despite your fear.
Mm-hmm.
That is so true.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very true. So I appreciate all the comments. And earlier, your uncle, you had said, Christian, he had also said when you talked about art being one of your favorite things, he had said, go art. And I just didn't get that. I put it out there, but I forgot to read it. And I want to make sure that those who are just listening also, get to see what we're seeing on the screen. So I want to read those kinds of things out. So keep those comments coming, guys. This is fantastic. So what sort of things do you plan or hope to happen in your future, Jules?
So I feel like I'm just sticking to what's closest closest things possible. Like I'm not really thinking far ahead. Like I don't have a whole life plan that's going on. No, that's extra. I just have things that I have goals that I plan to reach that are currently being worked on. I have priorities, you could say. I call them priorities because they are things that I have that I know I'm going to have to get out of the way sometime. So basically my major priorities right now is just getting my novel done. That's major priority. Like well, obviously I have to get the premise fleshed out. I've been working on that like all week because I mentioned in our conversation how clueless of a person I am. Like I am like just very clueless. Like I need options. So yeah. So
clueless is not a word that I would use to describe you.
Just indecisive or just
indecisive is probably a better word.
Okay.
It's a better word.
But yeah.
So finishing your novel, finishing your schoolwork,
memorizing lines for drama this semester. Yeah, and getting my class, making sure my class goes well. Finishing my homework for class as well because I'm teaching an art class at my co-op currently.
Oh, she is teaching an art class. This is also a big, huge fear that she's had and she's been really nervous about. And it's the fear that we're working on this semester is how to put herself out there and actually be in front of people and teaching a class. So that's a different aspect of getting in front of people, sharing your knowledge and your skills and answering questions and trying to be level-headed. It was really difficult for her last week. She had a kind of a hard time, but she is planning on what to do next time to make it easier. And she's doing awesome. We break through fears in like little chunks and try to work our way through it. And my goal for her is for her to feel like she doesn't need me in life, that we've gone through. That she knows that even if she's afraid of something, she just needs a plan to overcome that fear and do little steps until she does. And so we do that in real time together. She's scared of something and we work through it. And by the grace of God, we depend on him on all things because that's where ultimately our strength comes from. And we work through it. And she's been doing awesome. But it's been difficult.
Yeah.
I love that you face your challenges because so many people, and I kind of was one of these people myself for a while, that I didn't want to fight. I didn't want to struggle. I just wanted it all to be good and okay. And so the fact that you are facing them over, you've conquered that one. Now another one pops up. And instead of just saying, I'm tired, you are tackling each one of those things. And that's so important because it's every parent's job, I think, to make our children not need us and not depend on us. And so the fact that your mom goes through everything with you, I think is amazing. And Christian says, I got a sneak peek of the novel and it's wonderful. I will be reading the entire series.
Because I don't plan to make that the first one.
She plans to make it a series, yeah.
Yeah. Because
yeah. So that in itself, again, the homeschooling thing, the facing those fears, teaching is scary. I mean, a lot of people think, oh, it's no big deal because everybody has had a teacher in their lifetime. And so everybody thinks they can be a teacher. But tell me, besides just being up in front of the class, what makes teaching difficult?
Obviously, I feel like the major thing is people, when they begin to teach, at least this is what I've experienced, is like, do I actually know what I'm teaching? Because you can't be a teacher if you don't know anything. That's just standing up in front of people and explaining nonsense.
Yeah,
that's true.
So I feel like the major drawbacks of being a teacher is like, not everyone can be a teacher. you need at least two things. You need to know what you're teaching, and you need to know how to explain what you're teaching, because you can't just know anything and not be able to explain it well. So when it comes to teaching, I've actually taught like a couple times, like not in an actual classroom. I taught my brother what he knows, and then I taught some people at my church how to draw. So therefore, I have gotten at least a little bit of experience of how to explain things in a way that's easy to digest.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, not everyone can be a teacher if they don't know if they don't know what they're teaching or how to actually explain it, because those are the major factors. Teachers don't just go up there and give a lesson. No, they go up there and explain the how and why.
Yeah. Do you think that's the hardest part, explaining the how and the why?
I feel like that is because, like...
Is that where your insecurity flows, whether or not you're...
Well, it's more... Well, I feel like it flows in the way... Yeah, I feel like because whenever I say how to... Like, this is how you draw it, now the why is more difficult. Because usually people just tend to do things based off of instinct, not really understanding why they're doing it in the first place at all. So it's also one of the harder parts of it. So being able to explain how and why is very difficult.
Yeah.
So
yeah, absolutely. So we've got a couple more comments. So it looks like Dad got a sneak peek too. It's so good. Face red, smiling live.
Those are my kids upstairs from my husband's account.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then we have this from the Reddick family. We love you, sweet girls. So proud of you. Love from Miss Katie.
I love the Reddicks so much. Like, they're such good people.
So let's talk a little bit, because as you said, you're teaching one of the co-op classes. So let's talk a little bit about how the co-op is designed. I think there are a lot of people who do not understand this part of homeschooling and how this, that you're not always just taught by a parent, and that you're not just stuck at home with just your, core family. So before I do that though, I see we've got a comment here from Amber. Teachers also have to teach students how to learn. It's a missing skill for many, but so important. Can't wait to see you in your class in action Friday. That is from your Aunt Amber. Okay, so talk about the homeschool, the co-op, kind of how it works, what it incorporates, what you get to do that maybe, and I know Mom will have a little bit more about this than you will understand, Jules, but I also want to hear your experience of having different people and then also getting to be a teacher for this group.
So how does the co-op work?
So the co-op runs on like 3 to 4 hours. First hour, everyone is basically when everyone walks in, parents sign in, and then everyone goes to class. And then we have like 45, like an hour switch to second hour, which has more, basically it's kind of layered, I would say. We have first, second hour, and the occasional fourth hour classes. And obviously classes are divided by age. Like we have, it's like some teachers are willing to teach blank grade to blank grade sort of thing. Mm-hmm. So there's always a lot of people typically going. We obviously have people graduating, people coming into classes, people coming out of co-op. You get it. I think my mother could actually explain this a lot better than I possibly can. Knowing that she's actually been teaching and is teaching. She's been teaching for a bit.
I from her experience, it just runs 96 families, almost 300 students, and over 60 classes. Yeah, so the way that different co-ops function differently. So I can't speak to other co-ops. There's hybrid schools. There's lots of different ways that you can do co-op. But co-op, I used to direct my own co-op, and we do it completely different than TLC does it. The way that our current co-op does it is that every parent is a partner with each other in teaching the skills that they have. So I teach Spanish, another parent teaches music, another parent teaches robotics, and different parents have different skills and areas of expertise that they want to invest in the children. So they will volunteer to give classes. Maybe they have resources that they would love to share with another kid. There's a parent this semester teaching foraging. Yeah, and learning how to identify different plants in nature. There's a parent who is really, really good at chess that has a chess club. There's other parents with different talents that invest into the kids, and then the kids have an array of classes that they can choose from to supplement their education. Co-ops normally don't teach core, although they can. It's more supplementary so that kids can learn to learn what interests them, which is what I really love about co-op. There's creative writing classes, there's history classes, there's Spanish, there's cooking, there's drama, there's orchestra,
public speaking.
She's doing occupational studies, learning what kind of career paths she can have. There's parents who help kids with SATs. We have a teen pack that goes to the Capitol and learns how to pass bills.
There's also
different music classes. So it's more supplementary, but it helps round your child so that they can take different classes throughout her entire homeschool co-op career. She has taken robotics. She's taken choir and drama. She's taken the public speaking. Yeah. She's done art. She's done so many different things, and it's a way to help children not only have fellowship, because they fellowship with other believers, which I think is really important. They develop friendships, and they have monthly activities where they go to dances together and socials and stuff like that. But they also learn what they love. What is it that I love to do? And then they get to do that thing with other children. And it's been a very important part of how we do homeschool. Not all parents do co-ops. Some parents do 2 or 3 co-ops. We only do 1 because we have other activities. But we all invest in the learning experiences of the children in our community, which I think is really important. Fellow believers coming together and being the actual church and helping each other raise our children and teach them certain skills, and coming alongside each other for our children and having that big community has been really important. We've been at TLC. This is our 7th year.
I don't know.
7th year. You were like 7, you're 14.
Wow.
This is our 7th year at TLC. And it's been, co-ops have been instrumental, at least how we do homeschool, although homeschool doesn't look, like I said, the same for everyone. And co-ops don't look the same for everyone.
Yeah, I know with the family that we have that's in your co-op, just the fact that we've come to choir concerts and band concerts. Yeah. We've come to the play. Honestly, when I first started in teaching, I had no idea that that's what homeschool could look like. Yeah. And homeschool is not for everybody. It's, not every family can do it. Not every family should want to do it. And that's perfectly okay. Not every family also does it for the religious side of things. They have lots of different reasons for homeschooling. And I've known a lot of families since the pandemic, especially, that have, because everybody kind of had to be a homeschool parent then. Yeah, for a little while. And so a lot of parents thought, oh, I think I can do this. And, there has been a lot more people pulling out of the public schools and charter schools and doing homeschooling. I think there still is that stigma with homeschooling that, you just want to take your kid out and just let them play all day. And obviously that is not the case in this situation. And it is definitely not the case if I had to venture a percentage, I would say 99%. Unfortunately, I have known some that, they do not put effort and energy into it, but the families that do far outnumber the families that don't. And it seems like the successfulness of the students that are homeschooled is sometimes greater. In many cases, I think actually greater. I think about the family members that I know that have been homeschooled that are, one of Liz's nephew actually is a pilot. He's I don't know that he would have gotten that opportunity through a public school. Mm-hmm. So, to be able to do that he's not even 18 yet. Mm-hmm. Jules, you're writing a novel. Okay. People your age don't take classes and write novels that are in public schools. So, the fact that is being nurtured in you, I think is fabulous. And I'm so thankful for you and your homeschool co-op that you're able to have that opportunity. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your book? So we've had a couple people say they've had sneak peeks. I kind of want to know, can we get a little sneak of this novel?
Okay, so basically it's kind of like medieval fantasy kind of thing about a young girl who's being apprenticed by the local crazy woman of the town who is currently a witch, who's like a witchy, so she practices potions, spells,
but they're not called witches, they're called malograms.
They're called malograms, but like they're given the title of witches dubbed by the citizens of the town because they don't believe that things exist.
Yeah, so witches is kind of the way that crazy talk. They're witches, but they really
witches,
have
wizards, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's basically that. It's basically that. That's what it's about. I'm trying to flesh out the premise a bit more. Like I have, there's raids mentioned, so I've managed to figure out how to make the raids make sense.
Her parents have disappeared.
Yeah, she's trying to go find them, and then she's wrapped up in this basically otherworldly drama.
Yeah, it's really good. Whenever I read it, I cried because I was like, wow.
Yeah. So Christian, your uncle again says, we've been saying that kids your age don't write novels. Yeah. So I think you don't realize the type of potential that you have. And he's asking, can you read a quick scene?
Oh, don't you have your phone right there?
Sure.
But this
is just, it's not really the, she's making adjustments to
it's a draft. Right.
It's a draft.
Yeah, so I actually came up with this idea when I was making the homework for KWN, which is Kids Write Novels, which is the program I'm using. But so I was just doing my homework. It was 750 word short story, and I was like, okay. Yes. And I just wrote whatever came into my head.
This is what came to her head. So this is without any drafting. She wrote this with her handwritten. It wasn't on a computer. So this is what just flowed. I'll read a little bit. It said, I'll just read this part. All right. The woman called to her, Mia, dear, could you please get me the bottle of fairy wings? Yes, Miss Lotus, Mia answered as she rushed to a large door down the hall. She opened it and was met with stairs downwards. The chamber which she stepped down into was broad, white, built from stone. Torches were clamped against the wall with dark iron, and when the steps downward ended, Mia was within the storage room. Bookshelves piled high, spare potions, bottles littered the cold floor. It was dark, silent, and full of secrets.
Wow. I can picture it.
Yes.
That's amazing. And I don't know who's commenting, whether it's dad.
This is probably one of my kids.
It's so good.
Sorry. Wait, they have that kind of power?
Yes. My husband is on his way to work listening, and he's probably like, these kids are writing stuff under my name.
Well, thankfully they're not doing anything bad with it. So no. And then your uncle says we can all picture it. Yeah. And that's what makes a great story. It's us kids. At least, and what do we got? Not dad.
Yeah.
I love it. I love that they're telling on themselves. So now we have another person requesting for you to read a bit. She gets home to her mother and has a discussion. So
it's not her mother.
You definitely have fans.
Her mother doesn't exist right now.
Yes, her mother. So she's living with an aunt because her parents have disappeared
in a raid.
They disappeared in a raid.
I actually fleshed that out a bit more.
You did?
Yeah, okay. I'll tell you about it when it's done.
Okay. And she just has a way to when she describes things. She just describes things in a way that I can picture it in my head. She also has a part where you can smell the way it smelled in the chamber, and she just has a way with maybe it's because she's such a good artist and she draws so well that maybe she pictures it in her head and feels like the scene isn't done unless you can picture and smell it the way she can. And I don't think she realizes how much of a skill that is at such a young age to be able to do that. And so I'm trying to nurture it so that she gets excited about it, because in the age of AI, we're going to miss soul in writing. And her writing has so much heart and soul. And I keep telling her that God has gifted her with the excellence in writing and in art, and that I told her, don't write another page until you've prayed about it, and that you have let the creator of all things, inform the way that you write. And so we've been praying. We prayed right before we got on here too. And she's just so talented. And I don't even want to imagine what would have happened if we would have put her in school. Would she have discovered that she could write? Would she have discovered, her talents? She would have been too scared to do so many things. And I'm so glad that I've had the opportunity to just watch her conquer her fears and watch her be excellent at certain things. And it's been such an honor in my life. If the Lord takes me right now, it's been an honor of my life to just be a mother and to be able to just be with my children and guide them. And I feel like I get a little glimpse into, God's goodness through my children, and how he has taken them from a place where Julianna had crippling anxiety around 4 years ago. It was crippling. She wouldn't leave her room. And now she is out giving speeches and teaching classes and writing a novel. God is so good. He's so good.
Yep. All the time, God is good. Yeah. Amen. So I'm not sure who wrote "They Better" when I said that's funny that they're telling on themselves. I don't know if he's gotten to where he's going, and now Dad is actually commenting on his own account. But somebody wrote "They Better," and then
those are good stuff. Oh my goodness, I can literally hear the grammar errors.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's okay.
And then we have where did it go? Here we go. Yeah. And this is, again, what I was talking about at the beginning, that you gave the address to your class at your 8th grade graduation, and you did phenomenal. And that's 100% true. So I don't know. I wish we could find out who's typing in the comments from your dad's account.
Yeah, I will investigate.
That's too funny. That's too funny. Yeah, because we got a couple, so I wonder if there's like multiple people.
So if there's lots of grammatical errors, it's probably my 8-year-old. Who knows? Yeah, or my 9-year-old.
But you know what? I love that, because they're supporting their sister.
Oh yeah, and they're upstairs loving it. Jace came down. He was like, "Give me the link. I need to watch."
Oh, so sweet. And that's another beautiful thing, with a lot of homeschooling families, is there is so much love and support among siblings, and you don't necessarily see that in all families in the public school systems. Mm-hmm. And so I really appreciate that as well. And it's me, Jesse.
Okay, my 9-year-old.
Okay. So he told on himself. All right. Yeah. That's awesome. I want to ask you, do you know who Dr. Temple Grandin is?
No.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so the fact that you are talking about how you can write out in your novel, what a room looks like or what it smells like. She was on the podcast several years ago, and she is one of the most famous autistic women in the world. Wow. And she is 70. Jesse says, "Who's that?" I'm getting there. But she has a book called Thinking in Pictures, because when she envisions something, it's a whole bunch of pictures. Like, for example, I think she used this example on the episode of mine that she was with me, where she said, if I said to someone, tell me what a steeple looks like. Like, in your head, most people just, picture one pointy steeple, like on the top of any one church. But in her head, she's going through like thousands. and she's, looking at them in all different, and she's looking at the dimensions, and she's looking at the height, and she's looking at the texture, and she's getting it all. So you may want to look her up and look up that book, Thinking in Pictures, because that sounds very similar to your skill as well, that you are able to explain what you are seeing and, draw out those with words, not with literal pictures, what it looks like. Your Uncle Christian says the backspace bar is your best friend, kids. Yep. And then, it's probably Jesse again says learning new things every day. So Jesse, I appreciate all the comments. I don't know if your other siblings are there commenting with you, but I do appreciate you jumping in with all of your comments. So we've got less than 10 minutes. Yes. See, your uncle knows who it is. There's a movie about Temple Grandin. It's called,
Really good.
It might just be the Temple Grandin story. And it stars Claire Danes.
Claire Danes. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've heard of Temple Grandin.
Oh, you have heard?
Oh, so that's who she mentioned?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, then I have heard of her.
Okay.
Then.
Yeah. But yeah, she is someone who I have been inspired by probably my entire journey of being in the world of special education and neurodivergence. And it was a great honor to have her on the podcast and have her share, what life is like for her. I want to say it was like episode 80 something. So you can go back and look through I'm sure if you just typed in, into YouTube, #NoLimits, Shelley Kino, Temple Grandin, it'll pop right up. But yeah, it was a very good episode, and she has multiple books out. And I, based on this conversation today, in the future, have a feeling that I am going to be able to say that about Jules. That Jules has multiple books out, and she's an amazing woman of Christ, of faith, and who has autism. I don't want you to ever feel like your autism is all there is about you. It's a characteristic. It's one of many wonderful things about you. And I'm so thankful that you are nodding your head like, no, I already know that's not who I am. So I'm so proud of that for your family, for you, that they haven't made that your identity, because that's not, you are Jules, and there's a whole lot of stuff that encompasses who Jules is. So in the last 5 or 6 minutes, I do just want to give you both the opportunity, if there is anything that you want to say to families, individuals who might be dealing with having autism in their family, or themselves having autism, or anxiety. If there's anything you want to say that we haven't already covered, I want to give you that opportunity now.
I feel like something I could confidently say is that whatever is going on in your brain or in your physicality, like if you're blind, deaf, if you have autism or ADHD, it should not define you, and it should not be what you function around. Your autism should not be your core being. You should have who you are. First of all, God should be your core being. But second of all, you are so much more you are so much bigger than what any disability. Besides, God uses the weakest links for his glory. Moses had a stutter, proceeded to walk out of Egypt with a whole nation behind him.
Amen.
And God often used people like that because he didn't want them to be able to give glory to themselves. So in our weakness, he has made himself, grand so he can give himself the glory. And we are grateful that God uses us weak vessels for greatness. And same with anxiety. Casting all of your burdens on the Lord is the only way to really understand what you're anxious about. How can you be anxious about something small when God
is like 5 times the size of it, and he has whole control over the situation?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So focusing on the truth and who God is and who we are in Christ has really been the key to really speaking truth into all of our difficulties. I myself, Jesse says he loves you. Even myself, I've struggled with anxiety too. When I had postpartum, prepartum depression and anxiety. Clinging to the cross is the only way to really come out of the other side of anything. And we try to make sure that Julianna and all the other kids know that when they cling to the God of all creation, everything else becomes, small potatoes. And I don't know that it has clicked because they're so young. They drown themselves in a, glass of water,
Right.
but it prepares them to be able to deal with much bigger issues when they're clinging on the Lord for small things like bad dreams or this speech that I have to give or this project or this thing that I have to write. It becomes much easier to cling to the Lord in bigger things. So we teach them to cling to God in everything so that they can cling to God in all things.
Amen. That is beautiful. And you've gotten a few comments, and I just want to read them for those who are just listening.
Finally.
Her dad says, I'm so proud of you. Her brother says, it's me, Jesse. I love you, Jules. And then Brenda Cabrera says, you're amazing. And I agree with that. I have so enjoyed this conversation today. And I know that you told me before we went on air, Jules, that you were nervous. How do you feel now?
I feel like I could do this like 5 more times.
That's awesome. I love it. So I'm going to watch this again. This is so cool. My sister's on TV. Awesome. That must be Jessie again. That's so amazing.
Sweet.
Well, good. Jules, I'm glad that you are not nervous anymore because you did fabulously. Mom, you did great as well. I so appreciate this conversation, this opportunity to share you with my audience. And just honestly, like, I'm getting tears in my eyes because I feel so blessed to have been with you today, and to get to hear this story and to share this story with everybody. And I can't wait in 5, 10, 15 years to go, hey, that woman that they're talking about, she was on my podcast when she was only 15 years old, or 14. How old are you? 14 or 14?
I'm going to be 15.
14. So, I'll be able to say she got her start on #NoLimits.
Yes.
But yeah, guys, make sure those of you, thank you so much to everybody who has watched today, who has commented. That has been amazing. And it's me, Tio. So your Uncle Christian, he loves you too. And I so appreciate all the comments. Make sure, guys, that you share this. Make sure you subscribe to this channel because as amazing as Jules and Jessica were today, my other guests are just as amazing, and you will learn so much. I told them before we came on air how many things I have learned. They're episode 218, and I've had my own limits busted about people that I didn't think could do certain things. And that's what this is all about, is changing our thinking, changing the way that we think how other people can do something or will do something, or just, getting the idea out of our head to, well, here's a limit, and this is as far as somebody's going to go. We just need to get rid of that. So
Absolutely.
Thank you again. God bless you both. God bless all of you who joined me today or joined us today. And remember, guys, we know who we are, but not who we will be. I'll see you next time.
Bye.
Hey, parents and teachers, are you tired of IEP meetings that feel like a battle? Let's put an end to the tension and create a collaborative, calm, and respectful environment together. Shelley Kino, your go-to IEP consultant, can transform your meetings into positive and productive experiences. With Shelley Kino, your child is her top priority, your voice is heard, and you become confident. Shelley Kino is making the world better for all, one IEP at a time. Visit www.shelleykino.com for more information and set up your free 20-minute consultation today. That's shelleykino.com, SHELLEYKENOW.